Okay, so welcome back to my tutorial series in Blender for a Christmas scene. Last episode we have created all of these trees and the bulbils and their respective stars, and today we'll be creating the emitter and snowflakes that will be falling throughout the scene, and we will also be creating the snowman that will be the center point of our scene. Alright, we'll start by creating the snowman. So Shift A and add a UV sphere. We're going to GZ it up 1 meter so it sits right on top of the plane. And then we're going to Shift Z it down here so it's like standing just above. We don't want it to be standing, so if we go up it'll touch the tree, so we'll go onto the top mode and we'll Shift Z just about there. Okay, that looks pretty good. And then we'll Shift D on the Z axis up to here and we'll scale it down so it's about that size, Z, so it's touching a little bit. And now we'll make the head Shift D, Z, and we'll scale it down a lot more so it's nice and small, GZ. You can change the proportions of anything. You can, well, I mean, it's your scene, you can do whatever you want with it. And we'll save this again. And now we need to add some eyes. So let's Shift and then right click to set the 3D cursor somewhere in the face. I'm going to set it about where I want the eye to be. And then we'll Shift A, add another UV sphere, and we'll scale it down a lot. That's pretty good. My zoom is all out of whack, so I'm going to hit here and hit period on the numpad. There we go, that's a lot better. And then we're going to Shift D along the y-axis over, oh, that's a bit out of whack. G, Z, oh, not Z, X. Well, we'll check this from the camera view. Zoom in a bunch. Grab all of these, rotate them along the Z axis so it's facing us. Oh, we want this along. We want this to be, the rotation to be along active element, RZ. Perfect, so it's looking straight at the camera with its ugly little eyes. And then we'll grab both of these, Shift D them along the Z axis, yep, this time. Bring them down here. We'll just space them out along the Y, G, Y. G, Y. And then we can give these like a black material, so let's select these ones and we'll add a new material and we'll make it nice black. And we'll turn down the roughness because eyes are pretty reflective. That's pretty good. And then we'll right click and shade this one smooth. Actually, it's low poly, so we won't shade it smooth. We'll just leave it as is. No, you won't really see it from the camera view because it's, if I go to camera view, oh gosh, there we go. And now we can select this one and hit Ctrl L to link the materials. Oh, sorry, we want to link it from this one. Select this one last. Ctrl L, link materials. There we go, now it copies. And then we'll make this one the eye material. And we will select this one and go Ctrl L, link materials. But we want to make this like lighter because it needs to be different stones for these ones. Oops, sorry. We need to duplicate this, and now we can go a nice light color. And we'll need to link this material again because we changed it. Perfect. And then we'll turn down the roughness again. Turn up the roughness, I mean. That's pretty nice. And now, if we set this, it's already on face predict, so if we shift D and then hit control, we can like project it onto one of these faces. It'll be useful. It'll help us give like a general position to our thing. That's pretty good. And we'll just shift D, control, shift D, control, shift D, control, think about there, shift D, control, G, Z, Z, sorry, it'll be X, X, Y, Y, that's a bit better, G, X, G, Z, G, Y. That's pretty good. We'll just adjust the positions of these so they're a bit more accurate. Perfect. Now I need him to give him a nose, so a shift right click about there, and then we'll shift A cylinder. Whoa, that's very big. We'll rotate it along the Y 90 degrees, and we'll scale it down a bunch. That's about nose size. We don't want him to be a pig, so. And then we'll G, X, so it's just buried in there. Tab into edit mode, select only this ring of vertices, Alt select. And now we will control B to bevel. We'll bevel this and give it a few more loop cuts. Make it as round as possible. That's pretty good. And then select the inner ring of vertices and then hit M at center, so we have only a single point there. So, and then we can select all of the rings. Oh, sorry, wrong one. Boom, 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 boom. And then we'll move this out along the x-axis. So it's got a nice long nose. And then we'll just grab this point and turn proportional editing on, and we'll move this guy along x-axis. And it's moving the entire thing. So if you just scroll in a bunch. Now we're just sharpening it out a little. Perfect. That's looking pretty good. And we just need to give it a material. So we'll add a new material. Make it a nice orangey color. That'll do. And make it a bit more off. It's not changing much, but it'll be good. Yeah, because if you go away, you can barely even see the thing in the eyes. You can barely even see that it isn't shading smooth. Perfect. So the snowman is looking good. It's just looking, I think we'll select all of these and shade these smooth. And we'll hit Control J to move them into one. And then we'll add a remesh modifier. This looks a lot more like a snowman, doesn't it? And we'll decrease the voxel size. That's pretty good. That'll be good, I guess. We'll tick smooth shading. And that is our snowman. We just need to move it all into one object because this is an absolute mess. So we've already got this. Oh, we also need to give him arms. Nearly forgot. We'll Shift D, bring this down on length Z axis, and we'll move him on the Y axis, and move him on the X axis, and move him on the Y axis again. And then we'll rotate this along the Z axis 90 degrees. we can move him out a bit. We'll first move him, rotate him on the x-axis a bit, so he's like celebrating. We'll GY just a bit out. We'll tab into edit mode, Alt Z, so it's transparent. We'll grab this and we'll move it. Oh, we don't want proportional editing on. Right click to disable that. Proportional editing off, G, and it will be on one of the normal axes. Just experiment Z. Local Z is what we want. Perfect. Move that out. Tab off edit mode, and we will go into materials and make this dark, so it's a nice sticky color, nice brown color. Oh, sorry. Control Z that. Make it dark again. That's good. And Shift D along the Y axis. There's pretty good. R along the X. Perfect. Now he's celebrating. G, Z, Z. Move him in a bit, because obviously snowmans aren't perfect, so we'll have varying lengths of sticky arms. Go back to camera view, see how that looks? That looks pretty good. Now we just need to do the floor, I guess. The floor, and then we'll have everything textured, and then we can add the snowflakes, and then we'll be done. So add a new material. We'll give this a 1 shading setup because we want it to be like bumpy, because that's how snow is. So we'll leave the base color white. We might make it a little bit darker. That's pretty good. And then we'll go down to the normal. We'll Shift A, add a bump node. Move that there. Plug the normal into the normal, and we'll Shift A, add a noise texture. Plug the color into the height. Let it compile. It's taking its time. Okay. And this scale is a lot off, so change that to like 20. And change the distance to like, we'll try 20 for now as well. Yes, now we're getting some snowy bump things. Go into camera view, see if you can see much of them. We'll change this to 50. Yeah, that's a lot more detailed. If we go into rendered view, it's really dark. So, save this. Go into edit, preferences, add-ons, and search for dynamic sky. And just tick the lighting dynamic sky. And then if we go hit N and hit the create thing, underneath dynamic sky, hit create. And then it'll say, please select the world name dynamic 1. So go into the world tab, 0 dynamic 1 is the one you want. Apparently I didn't click on it. Oh, here we go. And then the menu will appear, and you'll get this nice, oh, we're in cycles, so you can barely see it. Just go into this, and then go scene lights and scene world. It's compiling its shaders, and that didn't work. Temporarily change your render engine to Eevee. Go back into the rendered view, and you can see all the clouds. That looks very nice. I normally set the brightness to about 0.5, it's a bit overwhelming. And then change the sun to point about there. That gives it so the shadows are going off the trees and pointing that way. I think it's because this is looking on a down on the sun from like a hawk's eye perspective. So the sun, and it's also rotated this way. So the sun needs to be over there. That's what it took me a while to figure that out. It's very strange tracing. Also push Shift S and click the cursor back to world origin. We'll put the sun value, we'll leave that at that, and that's looking pretty good. Also in cycles you do get shadows, obviously. And we should also put down the roughness on this snow a little. Make it a bit more shiny. It's not... Oh, it is doing something. It's just not that noticeable. Oh, you can see the specular highlights over here. Very... Just get it. That's pretty good. I'm liking that. Go to the camera view. Yeah, you can see it. That's a lot of specular highlights. I'm going to turn that back up so we don't get much of those. Snow isn't, as a whole, it's not that reflective. I mean, it's reflecting all of the light, but it's not reflecting it very sharply. Alright, so go back to camera view. Alright, we have to join this, so select these. We'll join the arms, so Control J. It's all out of whack, so if at any time your zoom gets like really hard and it's not moving at all, then just hit period on the numpad and that'll clear out all your zoom, and then you can just zoom in perfectly. Shift select all of these, Control J, select both of these, Control J, and then we'll select this one, the nose, that, these arms, and then finally the body, and hit Control J. Oh, whoops, not Control J, Control P, parent, not join, and then we'll name this Snowman. Perfect, we can name this Snow. And that's pretty good. We'll go back to the camera view, scroll out, Shift A, add a plane into the scene, scale it up a bunch. This is going to be our emitter for the snowflakes GZ. Move it above the rest of the scene, above even this tree, it's very tall, and then position it at approximately center, Alt Z, go onto this one. You see that it's cutting off some of the ground, you can't see it very well, but anyway, G, Shift Z, move this approximately over there, and then position it like just in front of the camera. The camera only sees to this tree, so I'll position it there, because if you go into camera view, yeah, you can only just see this tree here, so just position it directly, oops, sorry, Z, on that tree. That's pretty good. And then we can set this to display as wireframe, so go into object properties and then viewport display and display as wire, and it'll display as wireframe. We can go back into this and just show us the bounds, but you can still select it as normal. Go back into here. So we'll add a particle system. We'll set the number to 10,000. Boom. And we'll set the frame start and end to 1 and 200. Set the lifetime to 200 so it lasts for the entire thing. Then we will set, we won't bake it just yet. We'll enable rotation, randomize it. Then we're going to say, we're going to render it as a star. We're not going to use this star because it'll use these stars texture. Actually, no, we can use that star. So we'll close it as an object. No, we can't use that star because as he had it as halo, it says material, default material, but in object, it doesn't have that option. Unless it's an extra. Nope. So Shift A, make sure you have extra objects enabled, and then go to Mesh, Extras, Simple Star, and we'll move this down on the Z so you can't see it in scene. Just so out of the way. Wow, the weird underside, so wacky. And then we'll say change star, and we'll set the points to 10. Very nice. And set the outer radius, put that up to like 5. Yeah, that's snowflakey-ish. We're not going to put a lot of effort into it because you're not going to really see it. It's very small, so I set this to name it Snowflake. Sorry, my spelling's horrible today. And get this plane. We'll name it emitter. Always be an organized people. It makes it so much easier. And we'll get a snowflake. And we want to bake this really quickly. Oh, we don't want it. We'll go to layout. I'll set the start frame to 200. And save. And then because we're going to be starting the animation around frame 60, because that's where all of the snowflakes are in our scene, and they're way too big. So go back to the emitter, go into particle settings, render as, and set the scale to 0.01. They're much smaller now. Set the scale randomness all the way up. We'll put this back to 0.025. Oh yeah, that's pretty good. And you can see all the nice snowflakes in your scene. Save this. And we just need to set the floor and all the trees as colliders. So this is a pretty annoying process, but we'll save this. We'll do this real quick right now. So I'll select this one. For some reason, you can't alt and set all of them as colliders at once. So I have to do it by myself and go into collision and set the stickiness to 10 is a value I think is good. And then you have to just repeat this for everyone. But we'll do that in the next episode, so see you then. Bye.